The news spread like wildfire. Headlines blared across every screen. The celebrity Qin Feng has died tragically in Dojang Square. Qin Feng's extremist fans have also donated their life to him, sacrificing their lives next to his body. Police reports concluded that Qin Feng's cause of death was supernatural causes. A group of fans huddled together, still in shock. One of them said she could not believe it. They were just watching Big Brother Qin Feng's concert yesterday, and now he was. Another fan observed that throwing knives in stealth, this must be the power of the godforsaken game. She turned to a companion and asked, "Do you think that someone has assassinated Qin Feng? I heard that Shadow has killed Qin Feng 3 times already in game." The narrator noted that the connection was not exactly subtle. A third fan asked how abilities and powers from the game could show up in reality. The second fan, presumably Xiao's friend, continued. She said Big Brother Qin Feng had been assassinated. That was right. Shadow had killed him many times already in the game. The only person that would kill him in real life would be Shadow too. Throwing knives, cloaking weren't these abilities once used by assassins. That must be the killer, must be Shadow. The narrator observed that her deductive reasoning was surprisingly solid for someone in emotional distress. Another fan sat alone, staring at her phone. The news scroll read, "Brother has been killed by Shadow. My world no longer has light." A taxi drove past in the background. She muttered to herself that Shadow had somehow managed to use abilities from the game in real life. But she wanted to get close to him, be by him. She wanted to get stronger, no matter the cost. The scene shifted. Her friend called her name. "Xiaoyou," Xiaoyou declared, her voice cold and determined. "Starting from today, I have one objective only, killing Shadow." Her friend looked concerned. "Xiaoyou, are you alright? You look really scary right now." Xiaoyou's eyes burned with obsession. All to avenge brother Qin Feng. In a small noodle shop, Qin Feng sat alone, eating. He noted that in the godforsaken game, although a player was invincible in reality, playing the game still consumed energy. If you got hungry, you still gotta eat. The narrator reflected that even shadow assassins needed carbs. His phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen. The caller was young she said, Qin Feng. Fatty, who is pissed and said you blocked his number in WeChat. If you don't come now, you'll be fired. And you won't see your salary this month. He hung up. The narrator observed that his employment status was now complicated. He thought to himself that Yang Xiaoyou had a good personality, but she was weak and got bullied often. In her previous life, she was a member of his God Player Guild. The narrator noted that previous life was doing a lot of work in this internal monologue. His phone buzzed again. He answered. Yang Xiaoyou asked if he had entered the God-forsaken game yet. She heard it was difficult. Many people's lifespans had already been expanded. She asked what he recommended. He told her that no matter what profession she chose, just put her points into agility at the beginning. She agreed cheerfully. She then asked how he was coming along with the grind. How much had he earned? He replied, not much. I've almost spent it all. She exclaimed that he probably bought himself a car and a house. No wonder he blocked Fatty who, he. The narrator observed that she was not entirely wrong, but car and house undersold the reality of a man who could turn invisible and throw poison darts. Qin Feng's thoughts turned to his former boss, Fatty who, a real piece of shit. The real issue was his boss, Qian Chichi. The narrator noted that this was about to become a backstory dump. Qian Chichi was the daughter of the CEO of Qian Group. The company he worked for prior was under the ownership of the Qian Group. This young chick did nothing but pick on men below her. Something about going into a hotel with 5 foreign middle-aged men. Something else about driving a sports car and taking 3 African-American men out for fun. Now she was even targeting him. The narrator observed that this was either a villain origin story or a tabloid headline. Possibly both. He continued his internal monologue. Qian Chichi was a person who worshipped and fawned upon foreigners. Not after the launch of the game. She left Daxia and went to North America to achieve her dream of being in the Alice in Wonderland Association. She was laser-focused on the downfall of Daxia in his previous life. She brought countless troubles to both Daxia and his God-slaying guild. The narrator noted that this was the kind of exposition that usually preceded a dramatic elimination. He needed to get rid of her before she left the country. He would not be able to deal with her so easily once she left for North America. If Qian Chichi died, then the Alice in Wonderland Association would fail to be established. Rumor had it that many of the founders were having an affair with Qian Chichi. As soon as she died, the founders would fall apart, their communication ceasing. The narrator observed that this was a surprisingly efficient plan. Eliminate one person, collapse an entire organization. His phone buzzed again. The caller ID read Xiaoyou. The narrator noted that he should probably change his number. He answered, "Hello." Xiaoyou's voice was cold and dismissive. "Qin Feng, you still know how to pick up the phone. I thought you died in the God-forsaken game. Since you're still alive, I wanted to let you know I earned enough to buy a house. Don't ever bother me again in the future." The narrator reflected that she had clearly not connected the dots between Shadow and Qin Feng. Yet, he replied calmly, "Okay." And, she continued, "Don't ever bother contacting me again. I won't come find you either. and don't even think to find where I live. If there's nothing else, I'll be hanging up now." She snapped, "You Qin Feng, I want to cease all communications with you." He said okay. He hung up. The narrator observed that this was the most emotionally detached conversation between siblings in recent memory. He stood up from the noodle shop. He had to go back to continue leveling up. It would not be long before people started reaching level 10, and people would find out that abilities could be extracted into reality. When that happened, the world would no longer have peace. Back in Xiaoyou's apartment, her friend Xiyuan asked her if cutting contact with her brother was really a good call. Why did she not find him and apologize? He seemed really angry this time. Xiaoyou scoffed. "Me apologize? No ways, I sold the life force to the Qin group for 2 million. Xiyuan was impressed. Xiaoyou declared that she bought a house. They could stay in it together. She would get to know Shadow soon. What use would Qin Feng be to her then? The narrator observed that her priorities were, in order, money, a house, befriending her brother's killer, and absolutely no self-awareness. In another location, Xiaoyou met with a man, presumably Zhong Wei. He handed her a skill book. "Here, this is the assassin's ability book that you wanted. Don't forget what you promised me, too." She cut him off. I know. I'll satisfy your little wish after it's done." The narrator noted that this arrangement was not creepy at all. Not one bit. After he left, she muttered to herself, "Boot, just wait until I get to know Shadow. I won't need to talk to trash like you." The narrator reflected that her plan to befriend Shadow was optimistic. She then called Wang Meng, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "Brother Wang, I have an assassin skill book here. It's a control skill. Can you ask whether Brother Shadow needs this? If he wants it, I'll give it to him for free." She hung up and smiled to herself. Zhong Wei was still quite useful as a boot. He had quite a good skill book. This skill book would be what brought Shadow and her closer. The narrator noted that she was about to be disappointed. She fantasized. "Shadow, I'll be close to you soon. I will stay by your side quietly, healing you, helping you clear enemies, leveling up with you. I will make you feel cared for and helped in every possible way. You will slowly begin to trust me, maybe even treat me as your significant other." Then her expression darkened. "And when I become strong enough, and when your value is expended, I will kill you personally. I will also scoop out your eyes. I will avenge Big Brother Zhu Fei." Her phone rang. She answered. Wang Meng's voice was flat. "Big Boss says this ability is shit. He doesn't need it. Keep it for yourself and sell it for cash instead." She stared at the phone. The narrator observed that the sound of a fantasy crashing into reality was almost audible. The scene shifted to a dangerous area in the game. A group of players was fighting a massive creature. One of them shouted, "Careful, get out of the way." Another player, panicked, yelled, "Shit, this isn't your average boss. I need to survive." A third player screamed, "Run, it's got eyes on you." The boss towered over them. Its name appeared, the Golden Arthropod, a level 8 boss. The narrator noted that running was sound advice. Whether they could outrun it was another matter. From a safe distance, Qin Feng watched. He observed that this boss had level 2 anti-stealth. In other words, when facing it, his stealth abilities were useless. The narrator reflected that this was either a problem or an opportunity. Knowing Shadow, probably the latter.
Hope you enjoyed the recap. Smash that like button if you did, and subscribe for more. See you next time.